All right, welcome back to Morning Live, and we want to talk about something very interesting. And Lilio Sambirim is here from Impact and Marketing Manager Africa, and we want to talk about Samasource, because now when you talk about these guys, they've been doing so much in terms of just empowering the youth, and we just boil it down to the marginalized youth. And trust me, they're doing so many things. And when you talk about life transformation, it's all about sometimes sacrifice. And Lilios is with me in studio to give us more details about what they're doing. Liliosa, good morning.
Good morning.
Samasource, is it?
Yes,
that's
Samasource.
All right. So what do you guys do, by the way?
All right, so we are experts in trading ground truth data when we're working with some of the biggest world's technologies like Samasource, Google, Microsoft, and Facebook. So what we specialize in is image and video annotation and sensor data, and we are doing validation for artificial intelligence algorithms for things like driverless cars and smart hardware.
Wow, yes. Interesting. So when you talk about smart hardware, driverless cars, yeah, maybe you might shoot to the European countries, well-equipped economies, strong economies in the world. But again, we are in Kenya,
yes,
and some things have to be tweaked a little bit. Eh?
Yeah.
So what are you tweaking a little bit to make sure that indeed that pace goes slow by slow? Yeah.
So we're not trying to go slow, right? We have to move as fast as everyone else is doing. You'll find that most of these top companies, so we're working with 25% of the Fortune 50 companies, and most of those guys have actually set up shop here in Kenya.
Wow.
So what we specifically do at Samasource is we are driven with the mission to expand opportunity to youth at the bottom of the pyramid. So we train them to do this image annotation, actually call it machine learning. So in essence, what we are doing is training computer vision, for example. Right now, there is a race to get to level 5 when it comes to the automotive industry. And level 1 being just the simple, your car can swerve on its own. As Samasource, we are on level 4 right now, but we're trying to get to level 5 in the entire AI ecosystem, where you can actually basically sit back, eat your food, take a meeting, and your car takes you where you want to go.
Wow.
Gari najua mali naenda.
That's very interesting. Though the reason why I took the slow angle, you know, in Kenya you have so many issues to handle. By the time someone trusts you with the driverless car, right now in the hybrid cars, the electrical cars, I can say they're like at 10% in this country. But now it's all about trust. And also the gas cartels, whereby now, of course, petroleum, crude oil, all these manufacturers, they'll come in to fight you guys. Because it's not easy, it's business. So red tapes will come in, embargoes will come in. But now, when you talk about these young people who are being exposed to such technology, yes, we need it. We really need it in this country. But do you think embracing by the consumers, because it's a business, that's the biggest thing. For example, to trust my car, to take me to the shortcuts, I just sit, read my newspaper, go where I'm going. Do you think now embracing society, in African society, embracing the driverless car, what do you think about the feedback in the market now?
I think the feedback is going to be great. So here's the thing, right? We, like I mentioned earlier, we're working with 25% of the Fortune 50 companies. If they trust us as Samasource to do this, and they're trusting us with their back-end technology, then the world is going to embrace it. You don't look back into what's going on in the tech side of your car, right? But you trust that it's going to take you home. You trust that it's been tested, and tried. You know, and you're safe. So this is what happens. Like, we work very closely with our clients from the very beginning in terms of their quality processes. And quality is very, very important when it comes to this. We are meeting quality SLAs of up to 99.9%.
Wow,
Your driverless car has to understand the truth about what is going on the ground. Like, how long is this traffic light going to take to change? How do I identify that is a woman and a child? How do I predict that this child is likely going to run across the road? And what are the safety measures that the automotive industry has to put in place to make sure that you are safe? So the youth that we are working with are all coming from marginalized backgrounds. And at the very bare minimum, they have their high school certificate. 56% of them have tertiary education. But what we are doing at Samasource is training them from the very beginning on the little detail that is required for machine learning, for image annotation and video annotation. It's it's not easy. Like, I can't do it, to be honest. Like, I've got the shakes and I get really restless. Yeah. So you have to be very, very accurate when it comes to this. And so they are trained on the project specifics about everything that they're doing. They're able to grow in the ladder. So trust is very important.
Very, very important. Yeah. And I'll go back to this gentleman known as Elon Musk.
Yes.
And he's one of the pioneers of so many, like, some people say impossible ideas.
Yes.
For example, the latest one was SpaceX. He took a car to space.
Yes.
That was something mind-boggling.
That is magical.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about the brains of Elon Musk. Sometimes, you know what he does? It fails at times. He recalls his machines back to the factory because there's some setbacks. You see, now in African society, let me give an example. We have a very crazy road in this country called Jogoo Road.
Yes.
Now, we are kind of operating with this an automated car. That's a driverless car. And yes, lots of sensors. That's I understand that has to be part of the game. But still, looking at the story of Elon Musk, who is really, really trying to make things work. From electric cars, from driverless cars, all these things.
To taking us to space.
To taking us to space, you in your car to space.
Yeah.
But he's been having failures. And he's a multi-billionaire.
Yes.
He's been having failures, recalling all these things. Are you ready for the challenge? Whereby you're ready to fail, recalling back these things?
We are taking on the challenge right now. So we are working with our clients from R&D phase all the way to production. Yeah, so there's a great feedback loop between us and our clients. And some of these things are learning opportunities. You cannot be 100% the very first time that you go. Yeah, but we ensure that we are as accurate as possible. Yeah, so the trust between us and our clients is also very important. So from our tech stack, we have developed our own applications in-house, and they have taken several years to master. Yeah, but they allow us to get 100%, 99% quality output at the most.
Okay, now the young people are very entrepreneurial.
Yes.
Yeah, and these guys, I'm sure you've seen that.
Yes.
And how did you manage to now take that advantage to now come up with other projects in your organization? Because also, before even that, I'll be asking you about STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Very important in what you're doing right now.
Yes.
But still, the entrepreneurial aspect, how did you manage to now cultivate that to who they are now right now?
As a social enterprise, we run impact studies in the back end. So from the time that we hire our agents who are working in the workplace, we are running surveys to understand who they are, to understand what their aspirations are. So we are trying to alleviate global poverty by giving a paycheck. Giving a paycheck is one thing. So imagine someone has been earning less than $2 in a day, and then suddenly they go to the ATM machine and they're seeing lots of money. Like,
confusion.
they don't, exactly, confusion. So they don't know what to do with that money. So what we have done is look at the cross-cutting issues that our agents are facing, and then try to address them so that we can set them up for success in the future. So one of the things we have done from the very beginning is try to train them on financial literacy. So from the very beginning, opening a bank account. And then budgeting your money, and then saving your money. And so from our impact measurement, we have realized that lots of them are very entrepreneurial by nature. They have probably started a business, maybe selling mandazi at the corner, and it didn't work out because they don't have the knowledge to do this, or they don't have the capital. Our company, when we started in 2008, our founder got part of the funding from the postcode lottery, the Green Challenge, and we're thinking we can do the exact same thing for these guys. We can fund their startups. So what we launched is called the Give Work Challenge, which is the final phase of our financial literacy program, where we encourage our staff and alumni. So since 2008, we have had over 10,000 people work on Samasource projects. Currently, we have a little over 2,000 based at Samia Business Park, training data for artificial intelligence. And so we encourage them to send in their social business ideas, and they go through an international jury. This year, we had about 48 applicants from our current staff and our alumni. And the idea of this challenge is to further on our Give Work movement. We are giving them work, and as entrepreneurs, we realize that they will be able to employ so many other people. our biggest challenges in Kenya for youth is unemployment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Big
so
time. Yeah.
we know that not everyone can get a white collar job.
Sure.
Yeah, not everyone has to be in the office, but there's so many other things that people can do. But with the Give Work Challenge, what we are focusing on is green business and sustainability. So the business ideas that they're sending in have to be social businesses.
Absolutely.
So they are starting social enterprises just like we are, you know. And so we started this last year. Our inaugural year was last year, and I'll just give you a background of the three winners of this challenge. We're giving up to $12,000 in funding.
Wow.
For the startups. So our winner was from Northern Uganda, because we have a center in Northern Uganda.
Okay.
You have heard of Joseph Kony and
Absolutely,
how
absolutely.
Gulu was set
Yeah,
20 years
yeah,
back.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have put shipping containers stuck in the middle of the rural area.
Wow, okay.
And people are training data for artificial intelligence in that place, coming to the center to work.
Interesting, yeah.
Yes. And so the winner was actually a peanut farmer from Northern Uganda.
Wow.
And what he does, he creates products from peanuts, and he also connects villagers to buyers, farmers in the village to buyers in the community. And the first runner-up, was a gentleman from Kibera. You've probably heard about him.
Yeah.
What he does is he recycles material within Kibera and creates fashion items. He has really cool shoes. I've got about 4 pairs of his shoes.
Wow. Do you follow up on your cohorts?
Yes, we do. So as part of our impact measurement, we are following up on our alumni for up to 3 years.
Okay.
We're currently in the process of running a randomized control study, actually, to see if the youth we're giving work actually getting impacted.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah.
3 groups of people that we're following on. People who get a job at Samasource, they get trained and they get a job at Samasource.
Sure.
People who go through our digital literacy and AI training but don't come and work at Samasource.
Yeah.
And then people that don't get into the program.
Okay.
And this allows us to understand the impact we're making in a community. Yes.
Now makes sense. Now, when you talk about STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, what you're doing is simply revolves around that.
Yes.
And when you talk about artificial intelligence, all those things, kind of and marginalized communities, do you look at the prowess in this sector, or maybe just take them in, and then that the truth will dawn on them while they're at it?
Most of our agents working at the center are actually mind-boggled right now. They're like, I never imagined that I'd be working in this industry. Yeah. There's something my founder always says, that talent is widespread, is wide distributed, but opportunity is not. So when you take a walk in Kibera right now and just have conversations with people there, they are so smart.
Absolutely.
So smart, but for several reasons they haven't been able to go to university, or things just happen in their life that set them back.
Yeah.
And what we actually appeal to the market like is look into these communities and see what they can do. And when we started out in 2008, we were working on something called microwork. So microwork is where you get big data sets from these tech companies.
Okay.
And then what we do is break them down into tiny little tasks. Yeah. So when you hear about programming or algorithms, you think like, I can't do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I can't do that. But when you take the big data sets in the back end as they are, and then you break them down and you're explaining to someone step by step, they're going to get there.
Absolutely.
They'll get to a point where they understand how to do this. Yeah, so we're starting right at the beginning with these guys. In the very beginning, we'd even start from a point of powering on a computer.
Wow. Wow. Basics.
Yes.
0,
The
0, 1.
basics.
Okay,
Zero
interesting.
basics.
Coding, you handle all these things?
So we've got some projects where we're handling the entry-level coding, but we're not at the place where we're going all the way to the end yet. So we're just doing the ground truth data, and then we send it over to our clients, and then they do the rest of it.
We'll talk about 10,000 people. That's a lot.
That is a lot of people.
And, follow-up sometimes is always something also very tricky. Yes, you've told us about follow-up on your alumni, but still, we'll talk about 10,000 people. Sustainability for them. Now, when they leave you, they have to be somewhere. They've learned. Of course, the experience will actually catapult them to something else.
Yes.
But now, do you maybe follow up on how they are doing, just with hands-on? Because at the end of the day, you're trying to make sure that indeed they dream about driverless cars, all these things. Yes, they cannot actually get it at the moment.
Yes.
But the aspect of, I'm doing well wherever I am.
Yeah. So what Samasource is actually training ground. This is a first job for many of them.
Okay.
All right. And while they're working at Samasource, we have something that called the Global Training Initiative.
Okay.
We want to train them up. Our hope is that we give them a great experience at Samasource and set them up for success within Samasource and post Samasource. So 80% of our management team in Samasource right now actually started off as agents.
Wow.
So they are ready to take on the market.
Sure.
And we have such positive outcomes. We've got people that have moved on to the telecom industry, into tourism, into the banking sector, and actually guys who've moved on to the government. About 18% of them decide that they want to go to school full time, because their priority when they get a job is to educate their siblings. On average, our staff have got about 4 siblings. Yeah, so they want to educate their siblings first. And when they do that and clear debts that have been accrued over the years, they say, you know what, I want to go to school. We're also offering a scholarship program in the organization, but there's others that decide, you know what, I can afford to pay for school for myself.
Wow. Okay.
And many of them have decided to actually take a track in tech.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. A short break is really here right now, but still hard questions after the break, because now we'll also want her to give us details about now how you can actually reach them, because very, very lucrative statements from her, but still on the ground I'm very sure that different tasks maybe that might be kind of tricky, but still she'll be telling us on how they can actually be found, either social media, in person, located at Samia Park, so not so far from so many people, but also the conversation about driverless cars will still continue right here on Morning Live, so keep it Switch TV. Welcome back to Morning Live. The discussion is actually very heated. Even during the break, you're having a very good discussion. But let's now traverse to something very interesting. Unemployment rate in this country, mind-boggling. The numbers are big. You also all knew what happened the other day at a hotel on Mombasa Road, where they kind of just requested 4 waiters to come in, and wow. The numbers were around 5,000 people showed up, and that is actually an indication that things are not good in Africa. Things are not good in Kenya specifically. Now, back to this conversation about unemployment. Yes, I understand you guys sometimes receive lots of applications.
Yes.
So how do you vet?
Well, so we have an impact criteria that we're using. We have a primary group. So we've got 4 proxies for need. The first one is someone's education background, yeah? The lower your education, the more chances you are to get in.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
Interesting.
The second thing is what someone was doing before they actually applied. Were they unemployed or underemployed?
Okay.
We are looking at people that want to take on their first job, yeah? Because if you've worked 3 times, you're likely to get a job out there.
Sure.
But the person who's never had a job opportunity is probably going to be stuck in that hole for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't get the experience, and we want them to get the experience so that they can move on to their next job.
Sure.
The third thing that we're looking at is household economics. Okay. How much are you making as a household? Yeah. And so the lower it is, the more your chances of getting into the program are. And then the last thing we're looking at, obviously, is where you live, where you're from. We're looking at marginalized communities. Someone in Karen has probably has a father who's got connections. Yeah. But the guy in Madare, who was probably brewing changa at the side of the road, where does he start from? We want them to start with us. So that is the criteria that we're looking at. So that's our primary criteria. Then we've got a secondary criteria. This is a group of people that have got higher education. So they've got a college diploma, a university degree, they've done their undergrad. And what we encourage them to do is also apply, but they don't go through our delivery center, which is at Samia Park. But we've got a co-shared working space where we encourage people to come in, use our space, and find online work. So we train them on how to navigate through the online workspace, because there's lots of jobs there. There are thousands of jobs there. There's no reason why someone should be in the house. You've heard of the Ajira digital program?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we are running a similar program, but it's more advanced because it's a navigation program. And then once they've completed that, they get a chance to come to our workspace, because most of the times people don't have access to a computer or internet. So where do they go to find work? So that is our secondary secondary group of people. Yes.
Okay. Now, the application process, you know, there must be a process. You've really elaborated very well on how you guys kind of classify those two people.
Yes.
The process itself, how long do you kind of do the turnaround?
All right. So we are training about 150 people every 2 weeks. Oof. On digital work and AI.
Do you have centers all over the country? Do you have centers just in Nairobi only?
So we have partnered with some community-based organizations, particularly in Kibera, but we have our own training center, which is in Lavington, just off Gitanga Road. And so that is a big space where we can accommodate so many people for training. Each class can hold up to 25 people. Our training program, we have never advertised this program, interesting enough. But since 2014, we've trained over 2,000 people on these skills. And it's all been word of mouth. Right now, our wait list is 3,000 people.
There's a wait list.
There's a wait list.
And I was about to tell guests to anyway.
No. Tell them to apply.
I will,
like I said,
definitely.
we're training people very fast. And then our digital skills program is not just for an opportunity to work for Samasource, because they can get a job at Samasource because we ramp up very fast. We're always employing guys. But it's a skills program that allows them to apply for a job anywhere. So they get a certificate for their first time, and they can do back-end data work in any company.
Absolutely.
Any company.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So I understand you have a waiting list, but still, when someone wants to reach you guys to apply all those processes, how can they go about it?
So they can go to our website, samasource.com. And go to our careers page or our training page, and they'll be able to reach us through there.
Samasource.com.
Samasource.com, And they can always follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Samasource.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the issue. You talked about the unemployment issue. Like I gave an example the other day. Outside in Mombasa, just advertised for 4 positions, waiters, and around 6,000, 5,000 people appeared. Now, when you look at such minds, it means generically, it's obvious they want an opportunity somewhere. 4 people, 6,000 appear. It's not so good, not a good sign in this country. Now, as Samasource, you know, when you say about, when we talk about even the challenge you're having right now, these are good deeds you're doing, accommodating all these people into our economy, and also our parents. Sometimes our parents kind of push us to these lucrative careers, not even careers, courses that are flooded. Now, you can attest to this, maybe. Am I saying the truth here? Because sometimes you'll be told, okay, you go hard on law. But law has around 6,000 students graduating that year. Now it's flooded.
It is.
That's why we are jobless. Now, what do you think about even our parents and the opportunities you're giving them now?
All right. So our parents are from a very different generation. I was just telling you during the break that in my first year of college, I studied law. Because my mother wanted me to do law. And then after a year, I'm like, this is not who I am. I'm going to do something that I am about. There's a study that was done recently about the top 10 jobs that are declining and the top 10 jobs that are going up. And at the list, at the top, the top 2 in the list of the jobs that are going up, at the top of the list is data scientists.
Wow.
This is something that our parents have no idea about. Even if I try to sit down with my old man right now and talk to him about artificial intelligence, it's going to be like, what are you talking about? What is this that you're doing? What witchcraft is this?
It's true that.
So Nick, our parents have a different mindset from us, and so it is up to us, this new generation of parents. I've got 2 children that I'm learning to understand, like, what are they about? What are their talents, and how can I leverage on those for them to become who they want to be?
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest challenge that we have. Our universities are churning out so many people, so many doctors, so many lawyers, but they're all going to go to Kenyatta Hospital.
Absolutely.
They're all going to be working in a government job and get frustrated after a while. So it's really about encouraging people to have a different mindset. Look at the opportunities that are out there. Look at the future and what is offering. Elon Musk wants to take us to space. Will we need lawyers? Maybe, we will. I'm nothing against lawyers.
I'm not so sure, but still.
we will need it for the legal, right? But what makes more sense we're already in 2020. What makes sense for Kenya in 2050? let's focus on those jobs instead.
Yeah, an interesting question also from a director, Brian, is asking, for example, you have two categories of applicants.
Yes.
You have the lower education cadre and, of course, the elite.
Yes.
Now, someone who was a doctor comes to you with some sort of course knowledge, and he or she wants to gain some experience from you guys, and of course at the end of the day the certificate is handled to him or her. Coming with his whole education, he's been in the medical school for 6-7 years. He's coming to get something from you also, because the trends are changing. How do you handle such people? They're coming with some sort of, let me say, 0.01 ego at the same time. You know what I mean? So how do you handle those people?
So it's very interesting that we have these two groups in our center. Guys that have just finished high school and someone who's got their undergrad, probably a master's. They're doing their master's. When you sit down and you are training data, it levels the playing field.
Wow, it's like military.
Your medical experience is not going to come in handy here. Maybe you're focused because you've gone through 7 years of college, so you know how to concentrate really, really well. But we've actually found that they will come in with an ego, and say like, look, I've got my degree, you've just completed high school. But in some cases, you'll find that the high school diploma holder is actually performing better at these tasks. So they respect each other on those two levels. Oh, you did great in school, and I'm doing great at work. But you know what? I'm going to teach you what I know, and you will teach me what you know.
It's true. So exchange program of some sort also.
Yes. So what we're doing is really leveling the play field. Like there is no employment for people. We are giving it from whatever level you're on. Let's take it. Let's all learn at this point and see where we're going to be in the next couple of years.
That's amazing. That's an amazing one. So as we're finalizing this conversation, we've talked about even the follow-ups. You guys are happy with what the guys are doing. And when you talk about even your deeper pockets, for example, gifting someone 1.2 million Kenya shillings, $12,000, that's good money. And you see, that's nothing you get in Gulu. Someone actually, he is doing his own good over there. Now, do you look forward to taking these people to spread the same things in the locality, because they can't go there? You sit down with their knowledge and keep silent.
All right. So the gentleman I was telling you who started a business in Kibera, the recycling business, and making fashion items from that. When he got the grant money, he had 5 people working for him. Right now, he's got 25 people working for him. And good. That is the give work movement.
That's good.
So he's creating employment. He's going to mentor these guys. So one of the conditions for people getting this grant money is that they mentor other guys as well within Samasource and outside. So it's something that we're spreading. We want it to go viral. We want people to give work. Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Nick.
Just repeat the same contact details you've given us the other time.
www.samasource.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook at Samasource. And if you want to send us an email, you can send an email to press@samasource.com.
So thank you so much, Liliosa. But again, I'll give you a story of someone who, of course, many of you are familiar with, Madilu System. This guy is a rumba musician, the late, that is, a very successful rumba musician. Now, his story is this. This guy, while he was growing up, his father forced him to actually handle medicine, go to school of medicine. But he told his dad, I want to be a musician. The dad said, music is not a career. This guy went to school of medicine. After 2 years, dad passed on, unfortunately. He dropped from the med school and actually went on with his music, and eventually became one of the most successful rumba musicians in the world, Madilu System. That's a story. Now, moral of this a small piece I've given you is that you can do whatever you want. The new CBC, Competence-Based Curriculum, is coming soon and is actually in operation. So it's giving people an opportunity to be who they want to be. Though sometimes the level field is kind of different, but still you follow your heart. Do what you want to do. Sometimes our parents, yes, they are our people. We love them so much. But yes, they're old school. They want us to be like whoever, but still just follow your heart and you'll be where you want to be.